like and subscribe. Humanity's Judgment Day. A colossal vessel materialized in Earth's orbit. It was a behemoth, sleek and foreboding. Panic rippled across the globe, and humanity gasped in horror as its shadow blackened out entire states. News channels broadcasted continuous coverage. Social media buzzed with speculation. Every available method of communication was employed in a desperate bid to make contact with the unknown visitors. Scientists and linguists from every corner of the globe collaborated, pooling their collective knowledge and expertise. Messages were sent out over all known frequencies in hopes of eliciting a response. The messages were encoded in every language, from the most ancient dialects to the most modern computer languages. When silence persisted, they turned to more creative measures. Mathematicians crafted intricate sequences based on prime numbers, Fibonacci sequences, and the universal constants that govern the cosmos. These were transmitted with the hope that the aliens, whoever they were, would recognize the language of mathematics, a language that should transcend civilizations and species. Still, the ship remained mute. In a last-ditch effort, astronomers and physicists devised a plan to communicate using light. Powerful lasers were employed to send flashes of light into space, carefully timed and arranged into complex patterns. The idea was to create a cosmic Morse code that could not be ignored. These light signals danced across the sky, a plea for a dialogue. From the highest peaks of the Andes to the sprawling deserts of the Sahara, people watched as the messages were sent. It was a global effort, a rare moment of unity. Messages of peace and friendship were sent repeatedly. Despite all these efforts, the alien vessel remained silent. It floated above Earth, casting a shadow over the planet below. The lack of response was deafening, a silence that spoke volumes. On board the alien vessel, the Council of Elders convened. Tall, imposing figures with elongated features and eyes that glowed, they had the grave task of evaluating Earth's inhabitants. Their technological progress is remarkable, Elder Jarrus stated, yet their social and environmental stewardship is severely lacking. They wage wars, pollute their world, and act out of greed rather than collective progress. Elder Thoria interjected, but they possess potential. Look at their art, their capacity for love and kindness. Perhaps they are merely in their infancy as a species. They are a danger to the planet's future, Elder Vok, the most stern of the group, argued. Allowing them to continue could hinder the natural evolution of more intelligent and harmonious life forms. On this world, they must be judged. A decision was made. One human would be brought before the council to represent the entire species. If this individual could prove humanity's worth, they might be spared. On Earth, a beam of light descended, enveloping a young woman named Sarah Rocker. In an instant, she was transported to the alien ship. Sarah found herself standing before the Council of Elders, their imposing forms towering above her. As fear gripped her, a sound bellowed out. "State your name," Elder Jarrus commanded. "I am Dr. Sarah Rocker," she began, her voice trembling slightly. Elder Vok leaned forward, his eyes narrowing with a cold, piercing intensity. "Why should we not erase your kind and allow the planet to evolve naturally, free from your destructive influence?" he began, his words heavy with judgment. "Your species is a detriment to the growth and well-being of other life forms. You live for the greed of the individual rather than for the betterment of your species and the protection of your world. You still dwell on the surface with other life forms, proving you have not evolved to a state of true harmony. Instead, you pollute your environment, poison the air and water, and kill other life forms indiscriminately as if you were gods deciding their fate. This arrogance and lack of foresight demonstrate that you are not yet worthy of the intelligence you claim to possess." Elder Vok's eyes bore into Sarah. "If permitted to continue, your kind will undoubtedly destroy your own home world, and once that is exhausted, you will move on to other worlds, spreading your blight and consuming resources until there is nothing left." Sarah felt the weight of his accusations pressing down on her, the truth in his words like a crushing force. She took a deep breath. "Elder Vok, your observations are accurate," she began, We have indeed been a destructive force driven by greed and short-sightedness, a species enslaved by a self-proclaimed elite class. But this is not the entirety of who we are. We are also capable of profound love, creativity, and a relentless pursuit of knowledge. Our history is filled with remarkable acts of compassion and innovation. She looked around at the other elders, trying to gauge their reactions. We are learning from our mistakes. More and more people are recognizing the importance of protecting our environment and coexisting with other life forms. Sarah's voice gained strength as she continued. If you look at us purely through the lens of our worst actions, you will see a species unworthy of survival. But if you also consider our capacity for growth, our ability to learn and adapt, you might see the potential for a future where we can live in harmony with our world and beyond. She met Elder Vox's gaze. Give us the chance to prove that we can change. Monitor us if you must, but do not condemn us for our past mistakes without acknowledging our potential for a better future. The path we take from here can be one of destruction or one of redemption. Allow us the opportunity to choose the latter. Or I would say, judgment should be made on your species for such actions. You will have the ability to remove us in the future just as easily as you could today. To do so now would make you no different than humanity, judging other life forms and deeming them beneath us before even giving them a chance. Talk about acting like gods as if other life forms are below you. I rest my case. The chamber fell silent. Elder Vox remained stern, but a flicker of something, perhaps consideration or doubt, passed through his eyes. The fate of humanity hung in the balance, and Sarah's heartfelt plea was the only thing standing between her species and oblivion. We will deliberate. Your plea has been heard. Sarah was escorted to a waiting chamber, her heart pounding. Hours passed like days as she awaited their decision. Finally, she was summoned back. Elder Vox's expression was stern, but there was a hint of respect in his eyes. Dr. Sarah Rocker, we have decided. Your species will be granted a reprieve, but know this, we will be watching. Your future actions will determine your ultimate fate. Need before greed, always. Follow this rule, and the next time we meet will be when your species ventures beyond your solar system. With those words, the council dissolved, and Sarah found herself back on Earth, the weight of humanity's future resting heavily on her shoulders. Now her task is to convince humanity before it's too late. Sarah knew the enormity of the challenge ahead. She had to spread the message that survival depended on unity, selflessness, and the preservation of their planet. The fate of Earth rested on whether they could transform from a species driven by greed to one guided by the greater good for all. This is not goodbye, nor the end. Until the story continues, my friends. B.N.Rocker.